Nour Odeh to discuss all of this further. Nour, first let's focus on how the media has covered the situation in Gaza. You know, when I was entering this field of journalism, my seniors at the time had told me that there are 5 basic principles of journalism. Number 1, accuracy. 2, impartiality. 3, humanity. 4th, independence. And as someone who has been associated with media in the past, in your capacity of being the spokesperson for the Palestinian Authority, do you think mainstream Western media has done justice to the coverage of Gaza?
Thank you for having me. Actually, I've done many, many years of reporting as a journalist and only a few months as a spokesperson about 11 years ago. So I will speak to you from my vast experience as a former journalist. And I would say that regrettably, since October the 7th, we've seen a lot of deviation from journalistic ethics. In the reporting on what is happening, an insistence almost to abandon the context and abandon the clarity that the audience needs and is entitled to in order to understand the story, an obsession almost of moralizing the story and insisting that Palestinian guests be questioned about where they stand on the October 7th attack and whether they condemn it and condemn Hamas or not, almost as a requirement to be taken seriously, while of course that kind of unprofessional treatment would never be, forwarded to the Israeli guests. So it has been quite dismaying, to be honest, to see that deviation, to see major news outlets participate in spreading misinformation and outright fake news and not question that fake news. And in many ways, I think contribute to normalizing crimes that have been committed and continue to be committed in Gaza.
Indeed, and certainly over the past 7 weeks, we have seen many mainstream Western media outlets reinforcing Israeli army's propaganda, if I may, because most of the times what comes out of the Israeli army is not based on facts. Now, there's this one question that I have seen a lot of Western journalists asking people from Palestine and experts on Gaza, and the question goes, do you condemn what happened on the 7th of
Yeah.
October? What are your thoughts on this
Yeah.
question, and why do you think they ask this very question?
Well, I think because they, whether knowingly or unknowingly, are taking a side. They're identifying with the Israeli side and they're adopting that narrative. And in a way, they're treating the Palestinians and painting them all with the same brush. And so it's almost like they are treating any guest that they have from the Palestinian side as guilty until proven innocent, guilty of being associated with Hamas, guilty of supporting attacking civilians. And those guests have to kind of clear their name before they can move on to anything else. It is unprofessional. Journalists and media organizations do not have the right to moralize and to adopt positions and to pontificate on what it can and cannot be done. They have a duty to tell the truth, to tell the story, but adopting a side would make them lose that high ground that is needed for journalists to continue telling the story to everybody. The audience is almost deprived of the right to make up their own mind, almost as if these organizations don't trust them to do that.
What do you think has been the impact of the type of reporting coming from mainstream Western media on Western audience? Do you think they are buying whatever Western media outlets are saying about the conflict in Gaza?
I think there is a sizable portion of the audience that is not buying this propaganda, that is not buying this normalization of hate, the dehumanization of Palestinians. I mean, we've heard some outright genocidal statements against Palestinians in some Western media outlets, but also, and very dangerously, this kind of dehumanization and incitement has also been effective with some parts, some sectors of the audience in Western society. And we've seen a dramatic increase in hate crimes directed at Palestinians, directed at Arabs, at anybody to be perceived as Muslim. We've seen a young 6-year-old boy killed as a result of this incitement, killed in his own home. His mother also stabbed and wounded. So this is dangerous. Words are very dangerous, and media coverage is an instrument, and it should be an instrument of enlightenment rather than an instrument of spreading hate and spreading fear.
Nour, before I let you go, as a veteran journalist, what would be your advice to our audience who is watching this right now? How can they filter fake news, misinformation, disinformation about what's happening in Gaza?
I would say trust your gut and don't listen to the warmongering. When you see a picture of people grieving, do not question their humanity as you might be asked to do. Do not question whether these are real people, as some might have the audacity to do. Trust your gut and trust the organizations that you know have been consistently telling you the truth, who have reporters on the ground and who have dared not to toe the line of those wanting to excuse war crimes. People audiences are intelligent. They know truth from falsehoods almost all of the time. I mean, we've all fallen victim to fake news, but by and large, I think trusting one's gut and refusing to be dragged into
Right.
into this hate speech and into this dehumanization is the best protection for everybody.
Nour Odeh, fascinating insights into the topic. Thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.